بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. The fourth type of mafhum that we are going to talk about is mafhum al-hasr, implicit meaning for hasr, which is exclusion. As you know, there are different ways to express exclusiveness in Arabic, and we are going to discuss each of them with example and inshallah different explanations, because each of them has to be discussed separately. One is illa, illa is used for hasr. One is innama, one is bal, which is used for idrab, means to turn away from something to another thing. Of course, it has different types, inshallah we will explain it. One is zamirul fasl, which occurs between mubtada and khabar. The other one is to have the subject, you have subject and predicate, to have subject with alif and lam. The other one is to bring something which is supposed to be mentioned later, to bring it earlier, like iyyaka na'bud. And finally, salam alaikum. There are some examples from al-riwayat that Ayatollah Subhani mentions. So this is al-rab. So let's start with illa. For example, we say لا تعاد الصلاة إلا من خمسة. Salat is not repeated unless for 5 reasons. Okay? When you say is not repeated unless or except for 5 reasons, this illa shows hasr. Its apparent meaning. We don't say it's explicit, but al-ma'na al-zahiri is that these 5 are the only things that can make salat void, and then you have to do it again. If you have a very clear evidence that there is a 6th or 7th, that's not a problem. But unless there is no overriding evidence, we go by this mafhum and we say you don't need to repeat it for other reasons. So, هل الاستثناء يدل على الحصر أي حصر الخروج عن المستثنى من في المستثنى. I hope you get this, it's a little bit difficult. What is hasr? What do we mean by hasr? Exclusiveness. حصر الخروج عن المستثنى من في المستثنى. We say that being excluded is only for these 5, for example. We say except something. It means that there is no other thing to be excluded. Only this is excluded. So mustathna is what comes after illa, and mustasna min is the general thing which is before illa. How many things are excluded? It seems that only these things which are mentioned after illa. So you can say, by implication, we understand that no other thing is excluded. Okay? وَعَدَمِ خُرُوجِ فَرْدٍ آخر. Nothing else is excluded from mustathna min. You know mustathna min? Mustathna min means the one from which something is excluded. For example, salat. There are many types of salat. No one needs to be repeated except 5 types of salat. What is the reason Why do you claim this? وَيَكْفِي بِذَلِكَ التَّبَادُرُ الْقَطْعِي. Definitely there is tabadur. Means as soon as you hear illa, it comes to your mind that these are the only exceptions. بحيث لو دل دليل آخر على خروج فرد غيره لعد مخالفا لظاهر الدليل. It's so clear that if then you find another reference, another reason, which suggests something else is also excluded, you say this is mukhalafun lidhahir. It's possible, but it's mukhalafun lidhahir. The first thing that comes to our mind is these are the only things. Is it clear? فَلَوْ قَالَ لَا تُعَادُ الصَّلَاةُ إِلَّا مِنْ خَمْسَةٍ. If it is said, salat is not repeated except for 5 reasons. One is at-tahur. If someone, for example, says salat without wuzu. Al-qibla. If someone says salat not facing qibla. Al-waqt. If you say your salat before waqt. Al-ruku'. If you say salat without ruku'. As-sujud, without sujud. So it seems, I'm saying it's not, something that you cannot add to it, but at least al-ma'na al-zahiri is this. Unless you have a strong reason to add something else. Al-ma'na al-zahiri is that these 5 are the only things that can make salat void and you need to repeat it. So, if another thing mentions something else, لَعُدَّ مُخَالِفًا لِلْمَفْهُومِ الْمُسْتَفَادِ مِنَ الْقَضِيَّةِ الْأُولَى. Then it would be conflicting with this, and we have to fix the problem of this conflict. And of course, if that is stronger, we go by it, no problem. Anyway, I don't think it's a difficult thing that whenever we say something and then we exclude with Allah, it has a mafhum that this is excluded and nothing else is excluded. This is excluded, is mantukh, nothing else is excluded, is mafhum. The second thing is innama. Again, it is argued that innama also shows exclusiveness. Innama is also for exclusiveness. There are 2 arguments which are mentioned to support this claim that innama is for hasr, is for exclusiveness. One, again, tabadur. Those who are familiar with Arabic, either they are Arabs themselves or they are familiar with Arabic, they know that innama is for hasr. As soon as you hear innama, you think of hasr. And we mentioned, for example, innama waliyukumullahu wa rasuluhu walladina amanu. This innama shows hasr. The other reason is tasrihul lughawiyyin. Some of the experts of Arabic, early scholars of Arabic whose ideas are very important, they have actually mentioned this very clearly. تصريح اللغويين كالأزهري وغيره على أنها تفيد الحصر. تصريح means expressly, explicitly they have said. صرح يصرح means to say something very clearly and explicitly. والتتبع في الآيات الكريمة يرشدنا إلى كونها مفيدة للحصر. If you also do a little survey, تتبع means what? Survey, search. تتبع means survey, search. If you do a survey in the Quranic verses, it would guide you, يرشدنا means it would guide us to this idea that إنما shows حصر مفيدة للحصر أي حصر الحكم في الموضوع means that ruling is only for this subject. For example, إنما وليكم الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون. We understand that wali is only these three: Allah, Prophet, and mu'minun. Of course, who are mu'minun? It's explained. But there is no fourth category. Yeah, so there is kind of exclusiveness. Or إنما حرم عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير. When Allah talks about those things that are prohibited and you cannot eat, He says these are. It shows, at least al-ma'na al-zahiri is this, that these are the only thing, and anything apart them, you can eat. Unless we have another reason that says, no, there is something else which is not here, and it is also haram. Al-mayta, a dead animal, even if it is a dead goat or sheep, you cannot eat if it is dead. Means it's not slaughtered properly. Either it has died by itself or not slaughtered properly. Dam, blood, walahm al-khinzir, meat of the pig. 3. La yanhaakumullah. This ayah is very important ayah for relations. لا ينهاكم الله عن الذين لم يقاتلوكم في الدين ولم يخرجوكم من دياركم أن تبروهم وتقسطوا إليهم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not prohibit you good and observe justice with respect to the people who have not fought you about religion and have not sent to exile. Of course, justice is for everyone, but this is extra to justice, and do good to them and help them, support them.
Be friends with them.
Yeah, be friends with them. إِنَّمَا يَنْهَاكُمُ اللَّهُ. This shows has. The only people, the only people that God prohibits you are those people who have been fighting you because of your religion, وَأَخْرَجُوكُمْ, and they force you to leave your homes. So this shows with 90% of people in the world, or more than 90%, there's no problem. It's not only you should have relation with Muslims. The third is bal. Bal is different from bala. Bala, like, for example, إذ أخذ ربك من بني آدم من ظهورهم ذريتهم وأشهدهم على أنفسهم قال ألست بربكم قالوا بلى. That bala means yes, but this is bal. Bal means like but. Bal is used in several senses.
In fact.
Actually, each of them can be translated in English maybe separately. So first, let us give you a little bit Arabic lesson before Usul. تستعمل بل على وجوه. First, sometimes you say something mistakenly. Sometimes even when you want to mention name of your children or friend, brother, sister, sometimes you make a mistake and then you correct yourself. In Arabic, you can correct yourself by saying bal. Okay? Or for example, you say, I will come to see you Monday. Then you say, Bal Friday. Okay? In English, maybe we can say, or you know, I don't know, what? Rather, or actually, or you can say, sorry, for example, not Monday, Friday. Okay? And sometimes people may not say anything. They say Monday, they say Friday. Anyway, salam alaikum. In Arabic, you say bal sometimes. So this is just a kind of correction. ما كان لأجل أن المضرب عنه أنما أوتي به غفلتان أو سبقه به لسانه. Either it is said out of heedlessness, or we call it, sabq al-lisan. Sometimes, yeah, a slip of tongue. But why they call it a slip of tongue?
Because it comes before you were supposed to say.
In Arabic, they put it in this way: your tongue preceded your mind. Okay? Sometimes your tongue is not patient, so before you want to say something, your tongue says it. It's called sabqul lisan. فَيُضْرَبُ بِهَا عَنْهِ إِلَى مَا قُصِدَ بَيَانُهُ. So, after what is mentioned was not correct, they bring bal, and then they bring what they wanted to say. جَاءَنِي زَيْدٌ Bal Amr. And from the beginning, the idea was to say Amr, but mistakenly Zayd was said. Of course, this type of bal we don't have in Quran and Hadith.
We don't have.
No, because there is no mistake in Quran and Hadith. Oh. The second type of bal is for emphasis. So you say something and you don't want to say it was mistaken. No, that is correct. But you go further and emphasize on another thing. This is also not for hasr. This has nothing to do with hasr. For example, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَذَكَّى وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. It's not that what is said before is a mistake. No, that's correct. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَذَكَّى. The one who is seeking purity is happy, has achieved happiness. And the one who remembers his Lord, or has remembered his Lord and said prayer. Tazakka can mean giving zakat, or can mean seeking purity, because even giving zakat is for purity. Bal, indeed, it's a kind of indeed. Here you can say indeed. You prefer the worldly life to the hereafter. Sometimes, yes.
Maybe even but. Yeah.
Pardon?
Maybe even but.
But?
Yeah. And the meaning of bel here.
No, why but?
Doesn't sound.
But.
You say
Why?
Rather.
I think rather is better.
Rather or indeed?
Indeed.
Indeed.
Sure.
Because if it would be emphasis, wouldn't it have to emphasize what was said previously? Because
Yeah.
here it's saying a different thing after the.
So what we said is preparing for saying this.
I can think of another example
Yeah.
where the Prophet ﷺ was having a debate with the Christians, and they said to him, "We have in the scripture that Jesus ﷺ went to the Father." So he said to them, "How do you know what was meant? Was not Adam or Noah? Well, that is what was meant. So that is indeed what was meant by rising to the Father."
We have to see, was it for ta'akid or was it for hasr, or yeah. So the third is when you say something and then you want to say no, only this. It's a kind of hasr. For example, وَقَالُوا اتَّخَذَ الرَّحْمَنُ وَلَدًا. They said God has adopted boys, sons, children. Subhanahu bal ibadun mukramun. Angels are not sons of God. They are servants of God who are honored and respected. So it means not anything else, just only servants. Bal ibadun means only this. Or am yaquluna bihi jannah. They say maybe he's na'uzu billah mad. No, bal ja'ahum bil haqq. No, he brought them the truth. And most of them, they don't like the truth. Okay, so here it shows hasr. The fourth is to bring zamir al-fasl between mubtada and khabar. You remember zamir al-fasl in grammar, in nahr. For example, when we say Zaydun huwa al-qa'im, Zayd is the only one who is standing. Or Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is quoted as saying al-kafuru huwa al-hunud. Means you can only use kafur for hunud of mayyit. So huwa shows exclusiveness. Another thing is to bring musnad, or musnad is like mubtada, subject, something that you bring at the beginning and then you bring the predicate with alif and lam. For example, alhamdulillah means praise is only for Allah. Alhamdulillah is only for Allah. Or al-katibu Zayd. There is only one katib, there is one writer, and that's Zayd. Al-fata Ali. There is only one, for example, young person that we are talking or discussing about. Yes.
Sheikh, for the previous, for the bal, we mentioned 3 times. Only the third one is.
Yes, only the third one. Yes.
The alif lam makes it ism ma'rifah, right?
Yes, alif lam is for ma'rifah. It can be alif lam for jins or alif lam for istiqra'. If it is jins, means this type belongs to this case. For example, alhamdulillah means hamd in general, or if it is istiqra' means all the cases of hamd. Okay, sometimes it is jins, sometimes it's for istiqra', and sometimes it's ahd. Ahd means a particular case is meant.
You say here, مثله الفتاة Ali, but Bala has not been mentioned here. Can we say
No, Bala finished.
Ali?
Bala finished. Bala was for the third. This is the fifth.
Fifth, I see.
This is when we have alif and lam either for jins or for istighraq and musnad on subject. Another thing is to bring what is supposed to be mentioned later, to bring it earlier. For example, maf'ul in Arabic should come after fi'l, after verb. But if you bring it before the verb, instead of saying na'buduka, you say iyyaka na'bud. Instead of saying nasta'inuka, you say iyyaka nasta'in. Okay? Of course, you cannot say every time that something is brought earlier is for hasr. Because ulama al-balagha say sometimes it is also for ta'kid. Okay? But sometimes it's for hasr. So you have to understand whether it's for ta'kid or for hasr.
إياك نعبد is usually ulama say it's for ta'kid, right?
No,
No?
it's for hasr. Here we know it's for hasr, means we only worship you. We only serve you. Okay, let us give you a few examples from ahadith which are real examples. For example, لو حصل التغير بملاقات النجاسة لماء الكر أو الجاري في غير صفاته الثلاث. You know, if ماء الكر or ماء الجاري, ماء الكر, you know, water which is more than 3.5, shape in 3 dimensions. or flowing water like river, like well. If it is touched only by najas, doesn't become najas. But if the color or the smell or the taste change, then it is najas. If we are said that خلق الله, look at the hadith, خلق الله الماء طهورا لا ينجسه شيء إلا. Allah has created water clean and pure. Nothing make it najas except what changes its color or taste or smell. From this we can understand that if, for example, something changes the temperature, if najas changes the temperature, for example, you put ice which is najas in the river, or not river, maybe something less than with river, that can bring down the temperature, but nothing is changed. You know, the water, taste, color, the smell is the same, but becomes cooler. Or, for example, hot, or heavier, maybe a little bit heavier, but not changing the taste, or lighter. These are not the problems, because it says إِلَّا مَا غَيَّرَ لَوْنَهُ أَوْ طَعْمَهُ أَوْ رِيحَهُ. So, mafhum is that if other things are changed, there is no problem. Second example, if someone, for example, makes wuzu and then he adds to the niyyah of qurba also riyah. He says, I make wuzu qurbatan ila Allah wa ilsan ra'an ila nas. I want to get closer to Allah, and I also want to add some publicity.
Democracy.
What happens? Sayyid al-Murtaza rahmatullah alayhi said, this is correct. But he doesn't get reward, because he has done his wuzu, but because he was not sincere and pure in his intention, he doesn't get reward. But some ulama say, or maybe most of ulama, they say no, this is void. Why? Because وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. We have only command to do our things purely. Deen here they say means ta'a, obedience. So it means that everything that you do, it should be pure. If it is not pure, it's not ma'mura bih, it's not commanded. And when something is not commanded, it cannot be valid. Okay, based on usuli idea that one of the requirements for some ibadah to be valid, it has to be ma'murun bih. There must be a command for it. Yes.
Sheikh, does this go back to the discussion of ijtima' al-amri wal nahi? So if we refuse ijtima'...
No, it's not about ijtima'. It's about whether this falls under ma'mura bih or not.
Because I think we have the same discussion, that if you're commanded to do wudu, but you are forbidden from riyah. So if they join in one act, is it possible to join, or would it be...
No, this problem is more than amr wa nahy. This problem is that the very amr that you have, because in amr wa nahy you can obey amr and at the same time you are disobeying.
Yes.
But here we don't know we are obeying at all. Because maybe there is no command for such a thing. So you are not obeying anything. It's not that you are obeying and disobeying.
So if I'm not mistaken, the ulama who accept that this act is valid in terms of fiqh, but in terms of the mystical side, they deem it invalid and useless in that sense. But in terms of fiqh, it is...
Yeah. Actually, maybe 99% they say it's invalid. Said Murtaza might be exception. Yeah. They say this is invalid. 3. يجب أن يحنط مساجد الميت السبعة بالحنوط. You know, when someone dies, 7 places of body that are used for prostration, they should be to touch the, you should have to put some hunut. So, when it is said, إنما الحنوط بالكافور, or al-kafuru huwa al-hunut, either with zamir fast or with innama, it shows that you cannot do hunut with other things. Yeah? This is something that even without mubahasa you can understand. Yes? This is easy. But the rest of it needs mubahasa. Okay, I was hoping to talk about mahfum al-adad, but it seems that we don't have time. So inshallah we do it next time. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.